Zencaster.
Mhm.
I am rolling there.
Give me a second, man.
Yeah, I had to make sure.
Okay. There's a hyphen in between your name on YouTube, Smitty. I didn't know that. Like
There
there's Smitty
is,
dash
yeah.
2447. Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah,
Uh, Interesting. Okay, here we
yeah.
go. Welcome to another episode of the CFG Gamecast. This is a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers who like to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode every week and release it on all podcast services. So do us a favor and show us some love by liking, following, commenting on our Twitch page, twitch.tv/CFG Games, or on our YouTube at the CFG, or go to our main website, freaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today, I got my two awesome co-hosts. I got Pop in the second seat. What's going on, Pop? How you doing?
Spring break has just started. Fortunately, I'll be able to enjoy it, unlike how I originally thought. Both y'all already know I have the anemic problems where sometimes my iron gets too low and it likes to cause other problems. It's not fun. I am doing much better today, though. Yesterday, I was in bed for most of the day, which it was a pretty chill day. I had nothing to do. I try not to have anything to do on the weekends.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
I'll be off of streaming this week. I'm doing this new thing this year where it's 3 weeks of streaming and 1 week off. The 1 week off will still have uploads on YouTube, but it also gives me time to like edit clips, work on other recordings, do other things because I like to go outside and it's getting warmer now, so I have no reason to be inside the house anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, outside of that, just prepping for some upcoming speedrun events with getting submissions together for BAF Presents Juneteenth in June. And then No Glitches Allowed in May.
What is no glitches allowed? Never heard of that one.
So it is but I just found out that it's an annual speedrun event. I've heard of it before, but I didn't realize it was annual. But essentially, it is an event where they are raising money for trying to remember the name of the organization. If I recall, it is some shelter. Essentially, you have to. It's a marathon of games, speed runs that are glitchless or have no glitches. So every community defines glitches differently with how they do
So like you can't do
runs.
like Mario 64. You can't do that weird glitch where you
No,
go back,
that
you
would
jump
not
up the
that would
stairs.
not be allowed. Yeah, no, that would
Okay.
not be allowed. The Go Rescue Pet Adoption Center, that's who they're raising money for. It's a charity speedrun event, so no glitches are allowed. I'm safe because I already do runs that don't use glitches anyway. I've always wanted to be a glitchless runner. I told my community at some point, like, maybe I'll learn a run that has glitches, but it's just it's two pieces of a pie. Like, getting glitches to work is extremely difficult, so it makes it rewarding. But also beating a game super quickly without any glitches is as equally rewarding for me. So
That's true.
we'll see how it goes in the future. But yeah, I'm a glitchless runner.
That is awesome. That's awesome. But you know what, Pop?
What?
You know who isn't a glitchless runner and likes to probably would cheat his way all through marathon if he had the chance?
Wow.
We talking about Tom Brady?
Yeah, we're talking not only Tom Brady, but we're also talking about the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. What's going on, Smitty?
Chilling. It's been another busy week. Lots of work things and whatnot, but gaming wise, it's been good. We had Marathon come out. I am absolutely enjoying it. I am loving it. It is really, really good.
I have a quick question for you about Marathon.
What's that?
Okay, so does it satisfy does it satisfy what you were like the expectations that you had for it? Like, does it meet your expectations of it, or like where were you at now? Because I know we were talking a lot of shit about it prior to all of this.
We were, but after playing the beta, and again, as much time that I dumped into the beta, I felt good. Obviously, you know what I mean. I purchased a game, so it says a lot for me to purchase a game out, outside of a genre that I typically
Don't
enjoy
do.
or even
Yeah.
play. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, again, I'm excited to see what Bungie does. The gunplay, again, I love it. I had a lot of fun playing with Wally and his brother last night. I have fun playing it solo as well. So I'm just cracking the shell open right now. There's still, I'm sure, plenty to discover. And Bungie's known too for throwing in like puzzles and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see how that goes. We've we've got a roadmap for the next 3 months
Mhm.
as well. I think it was like 3 months or something like that. Or like every season's like 3 months. We know a ranked mode's coming in as well as another area is gonna be unlocked at some point in time. So
Mhm.
right now it's looking good. I know there's a lot of hate and a lot of people, you know what I mean? Like I feel like the loud minority are rooting for it to fail, but I think it's got some legs to stand on.
Well, Smitty, you know the number one place to find out the
That's
reviews
right.
of these games that we talk about,
Here we
which
go.
it is the Steam reviews. It's finally officially out, so I'm gonna take a quick look just to see what you if it's holding any kind of water. And right now it's at 11,444 total, and English reviews it says it's very positive, so that's good. And what is more surprising to me is like, so you know how Steam usually has like maybe the first or the top 10 or 15? There's only
Hmm.
one negative review out of that list of top 10 to 15. So,
Really?
right, yeah. So right now, the first one is a guy named Kim Kitsuragi. He says, as a Tarkov veteran, 5,000 hours of Tarkov, by the way. I was intrigued by the game and its unique art direction, but I was a bit hesitant since the closed beta didn't give the same vibe I saw from the cinematics and trailers. I gave it a shot during the slam test, and now, wow, I'm just as addicted as when I first played Tarkov. It finally feels like a really good extraction shooter and really understood and respected the genre, but added their own sauce. Even if they're not really attracted to the game, maybe for some reasons or because you think it lacks something, it just gives it a shot. You won't regret it. So that was a really good one. Let's see. Toki Castle also says if you enter this game as a team of three, you will be met with tense and rewarding tactical combat, and it isn't replicated in any other game. This is the game at its peak, exhilarating and deeply cooperative. If you enter the game as a solo player, you will still have fun, but the entire dimension of the game will be has been removed. Comms are somewhat rare, and those who do not speak aren't nearly as talkative as they need to be for this kind of game. On top of that, many crew fill players will leave the game the moment they get bagged. Tip: if you are someone who leaves the lobby as soon as you get bagged, you should know that you should be revived as a bag, and it only takes about twice as long as being revived when knocked down. It's only over until it's over, so please be patient. Okay, so that's just a little bit of criticism, but he still likes the
Player
experience.
criticism.
Yeah. Okay. This guy is a negative review, and I'm not going to read all of it because it's like a review, like review. It says the
Hmm.
game feels as or actually was primarily made for a pre-made group because everything else feels like a waste of time. Wow, that's a pretty
What?
strong thing to say. Jesus. Okay, the game is definitely not for the majority of solo players and casuals. Only for the 1% hardcore players who keep going even after 20 deaths back to back. They will go out in their wait they will go out of their way making it work, finding a good group, etc. The rest will simply not, and that's where it will end for most. Okay, so I'll read the first paragraph. As a solo player, you don't really have access to the actual exciting content looting loop where you are getting the good stuff from the purple backpacks, mods, items, etc. And except from the players. The main thing is first get to the loot is simply not made for solos in mind. because you have to because you have to do PvE events where you need to be coordinated and good team for win pretty much all of your group PvP encounters to have the map for yourself, then have enough ammo, meds, shields, and multiple certain items, some of them AIs, to start the event, which will then spawn a bunch of more AI bots, which everyone has to take a spawn and kill them as fast as possible to not waste ammo and heals on them. No, to not waste ammo and to heal on them. That part of the content is just not for solos. You can have fun in solos if you already got your purple stuff, but then you probably have it from the mostly playing from the pre-made group. But we talk about the majority of players. They will not be the type of player and have the endurance for this. So I guess it seems like it seems like playing in solo is really tough. That's where I'm kind of
It
going
really
towards this.
isn't.
Okay.
I have primarily played solo, and there are times where there's issues and stuff like that. I understand that, but that's part of, I think, the game. The game,
Maybe
and
literally just
it's,
skill issue.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's
Oh.
like I don't think they should nerf it down at all. There is a bit of competitiveness, and it's not really the other players you have to worry about. It's the bots,
Mhm.
because they're
Yeah, I
not
heard the
dumb
bots were
bots
no joke.
either.
Yeah, the
They're
bots I heard were no
tactical.
joke.
They're smart. They'll rush you if they think they should rush you. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Mhm.
Like, they are super aggressive. So I could see that, and I absolutely correct. I don't think it really is for casual players, at least not the solo experience. I think even casual players can enjoy, playing in a group, or even if you're just playing Phil, you know what I mean, and you don't know the other people,
Mhm.
you're still gonna have a good time. So, I don't know what that person expected, but that's not it. I believe anyway, and
That's interesting.
that's their opinion, but
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't have given it a bad review.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm trying to look through it. There's a lot of reviews here, and most of it is positive. I've only come across maybe, oh, here we go. The more of the negatives are right here. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah. So I hope they are successful in this because I think this is a make or break for Bungie. If this does not work on their behalf, that might be it's going to be a big issue for.
We'll see how much time PlayStation gives them too. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, some companies I feel like are quick to jump the gun and just end things before they really even get a chance to get started.
yeah, that's true. That's very true. So that's cool. Well, no, well there you go. I know we didn't have enough time to kind of go into the thing, but I was just wanting to let you know about I think we should at least acknowledge where Marathon is at since it came out on Thursday.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah. But as for me, man, episode number 2 of our podcast, Anime Nokuri, came out. We did a review of Full Metal Panic, not a review, but we did a conversation of Full Metal Panic, the anime. It was really actually hilarious on her behalf because this is the first time she's ever, one of my co-hosts was actually watched it, and she has a lot of things to say about it. So that was actually fun. Um, I haven't played anything because I was actually getting ready for my trip to Japan. So I've been getting ready and getting all hyped for that. I did pick up some games. I was actually looking uh, into like a series I should watch on the way over there. I was actually thinking about watching the One Piece live action series, but apparently you can't download your stuff anymore. Like
Oh,
on
really?
regular Netflix. Yeah, well, if you use a laptop, if you have your phone, you can, but you can't do it. Like, so I guess I would have to connect my phone to my laptop to get the
That's
access to it.
ridiculous.
I guess that
That's
would
That's
have,
right.
ridiculous.
yeah. So that would have to be the only way. It's so dumb. They removed it, and I was like, these bastards. Yeah. So, but yeah,
I mean,
I
it
know.
checks out. People probably like ruin somebody. We can't have anything because people ruin everything.
Oh,
Hmm.
something did happen for them to say, you know what, let's take this off because I absolutely believe that.
Because why
Like,
are
well,
you denying me my rights?
essentially, I know, right? Especially you're
You're paying like
paying
what,
almost
almost
$30.
$30 a month
It's
for what?
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, exactly. Like, what?
I know. It's like you can't watch on your laptop anymore, but you can watch it on your phone. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
geez, thank you, son of a bitch.
Yeah. Here's a
Anyways,
crumb.
I know y'all don't want to hear me or see me write my angry letter to Netflix because they're not getting my way. But let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion in the world of video games. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry. And we do not want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners, on twitch.tv/CFG Games, and on YouTube at the CFG to be a part of the conversation. So if there's something you're wanting to chime in about or you're wanting to add your 2 cents, by all means, type it inside the chat. We encourage it and we will talk with you and go from there. So this was a very interesting week. I mean, it just seems like there's always something that's happening in the gaming world, but
Mm-hmm.
this one I was like, wow, okay, this is very interesting. So I was kind of in the 50-50 point of wanting to do the full article, but I think I should because it's going to give a full like conference of reference of what everything here. So um on Friday, Nintendo filed a lawsuit against the US government over the tariffs that the US government has put over Japanese video game giant the Nintendo is seeking $200 billion in refunds and with interest, which is crazy. I was like, what? Yeah, that is wild. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. And this is very fun. So, well, not fun, but this is very interesting. But this was the article is from Luke James, who is on Tom's Hardware, and this is the article. So Nintendo of America filed a lawsuit against the U.S. government on March 6th in the U.S. Court of International Trade, seeking a refund of tariffs it paid under President Donald Trump's executive orders since February of 2025. According to a complaint obtained by Aftermath, the company representative by Venable LLP argues that the tariffs were unlawfully imposed under the International Emergency Economic Power Act of 1977 and seeks the return of the collected duties with interest, along with the attorney fees and the reprocessing of its import entries. The Supreme Court struck down the IEEPA based tariffs on February 20th, ruling the act did not grant the president authority to impose them. The court also ordered U.S. Customs and Border Protection to refund the duties it had collected. In a separate filing on the same day, Nintendo filed its complaint. However, CBP stated it was not able to comply with that order. Nintendo is among more than 1,000 companies that have filed suits, joining FedEx, Costco, and Revlon in seeking refunds. The 14-page complaint states that tariffs have resulted in the collection of more than $200 billion in import taxes and imports from nearly all countries since February of 2025. Nintendo told Aftermath it had filed the complaint but had nothing else to share. So they haven't said anything afterwards. So, I'm going to stop there because it just seems like it's just kind of going a little bit more in depth. But I will skip to the point where it says Nintendo manufactures its consoles and accessories primarily in Vietnam and China, putting it squarely off the crossfires when sweeping tariffs were announced in April 2025. The company delayed the switch to pre-orders from April 9th to 24th to assess the potential cost impact and ultimately raised the price on accessories rather than the console itself. So that I guess that's the reason why they jacked everything else up except the console when that happened.
Yeah.
So everything else is ridiculously stupid expensive than the original console. So this is I find incredibly like fascinating because like when if you I mean we if you're not in the know on this, the Supreme Court did say that the tariffs that were imposed under this presidency were illegal and
Mhm.
so now the money that these tariffs have put into place is literally, well, theoretically, I don't know if they did or not, should theoretically just be sitting there because of all the tariffs that were being that were put in by these companies. So now Nintendo is looking for blood. Geez, I
Yeah.
didn't think it was that expensive. $200 billion, and on top of that, interest. On top of all of that, I don't know if it's solely Nintendo at this point, but because like I don't think that would spend that kind of cash just for the console
I feel
itself.
like
But
Nintendo was just starting the fire so it can spread.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're not the beginning of all of this. Apparently, they said
Because
a
well, oh,
thousand
well,
other
yeah, no.
companies. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
no. But
yeah.
Nintendo is a big enough name.
Oh yeah.
We might see Sony next.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is
And
true.
maybe even Microsoft and some of these other tech companies, even though they're based in the US, they outsource outside of the US. And they might be like, hey, if Nintendo's doing it, let's dive right on in.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that is wild to me. That this is where it's good. This is where we're at right now with this. I mean, if manufacturers are going to, if they're going to do, I mean, I'm assuming this would have to go class action at this point. If this is if multiple companies, I mean, multiple companies were affected by these quote unquote tariffs, and
Yeah, they can do it as a class action lawsuit.
yeah. So if they're going to do that, I think that's how they're doing it, because it would make it would like 200 billion is quite a tall order to for one company to say to ask. That's a lot of that's ridiculous. I mean, in my opinion.
And how much do we get of that as a consumers, as the ones
Oh.
that paid that price?
You know what's worse is that they're asking for interest, so they're asking for more than what they put in. So yeah, we're so it's like so the consumer itself got double dipped at this point.
Yes,
it's even
every
worse,
time,
you know?
dude. So you're telling me we're gonna have to pay out with our tax money to these
Mhm.
companies? So they're double dipping us. They charged us these high rates because of the tariffs. Then they're gonna get their money back plus interest with our own money, with our tax money. That's insane. What do we get as consumers that had to pay the extra prices? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, that pisses me off.
It does. It does.
Pisses me off, dude.
But here's the
I'm pretty sure if they win the lawsuit, what they can probably do is do what they've done with Fortnite. Epic has done, where it's like, if you were affected by like this price increase, like submit your receipt and you can get some money back, and they'll do it that way.
well,
Yeah.
they don't have
But
to
that's
do
if
that,
Nintendo
though.
was nice enough, and they
Yeah.
probably won't do it now.
That's like saying we're going to give back the money
What
to the
money?
people would be nice. Yeah, I know, right? It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You mean that glob of money that you just put in your pocket, in the back of your back pocket? Yeah, you don't know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I don't know, man. It's like I don't trust it, and then and the fact that people are going to the fact that this is where we're at now, that's where companies are going to be, or is at for against the government, and then it's like all this was a viewpoint. If they're going to clear this out, or it's going to take years for this to come back to this, because I feel like it's going to be a matter of delays and appeals and all this other crap that's going to end up happening. It's just like it's just a theater. It's like what.
Well, the biggest thing too,
so
if
frustrating.
they, well, I think, dude, this will also set a precedent, because if they're able to do it, what's stopping any other company in any other sector then that was affected from then suing the U.S. government for the illegal tariffs?
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that this is a class action, because like they said it said in the article over 1,000 companies have already put in, big ones like FedEx, Costco, and stuff like that. And I just don't, and just to say that if Nintendo is openly seeking $200 billion themselves, I would be like, that is insane. That is almost a quarter of $1 trillion for one company. I don't think so. I think it has to be less than that. So that's why, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it's set or how it's structured, but how I'm interpreting it is that they are all trying to get that piece of the total of 200 billion. The total is 200 billion that was due to the tariffs, and they're trying to get a piece of that. So yeah, that makes more sense. But man, who knows, man? Because good God, that is wild. Yeah, but like, I really do. I mean, I really hope they win. I mean, that's where I'm at. Even though I don't care, I really don't like big business and any of this, and these people are just wanting to get their money back. I understand, but the fact that this even happened this was the beginning of all the reasons why everything has gotten more expensive. And if they're going to take the responsibility, which, I mean, let's face it, I don't think they are going to face the responsibilities from all of this, then we might be seeing a different like a shift into like hopefully things getting cheaper or like little less than what we're where we're at right now because it's bad right now when it comes to this kind of deal. So yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll
So
see
there,
what impact that the longer term, because I think this Pop's right. This is just the beginning. I feel the Supreme Court found it illegal. Like, do they don't have a leg to stand on
Mhm.
if that's the case. So I don't know how you fight it. Eventually it would just make its way back up to the Supreme Court, and I doubt that they would reverse their
They absolutely won't.
decision, yeah, from before. So like, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out and what kind of ripple effects it has as well.
Well, I'm a little worried because like what he did, what the president did say was that like they're going to try other venue or other avenues to for it to be enforced. So that's why I'm thinking this is what they're going to end up doing is that they're just going to prolong it. They're just going to delay it. So things are still going to be collecting, which is going to be annoying. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that nothing's going to. I think in the short term, nothing's going to change. I think things going to be
Right.
like business as always until someone finally puts that hammer down to be like, okay, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like which is going to be really. It's still going to hurt. So I mean, I guess there's nothing we could do about that at this time. So all right. Well, that was that's what I was thinking about with this. But this is very fascinating that how they just called them out on this. But uh, yeah. But anyways, Pop, what are you bringing to the table besides silence?
Nothing.
Pop, you okay?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna have to run to the restroom after I
Oh.
say my topic. Yeah. Um, if you all recall, NetEase had said back in 2024 that they would be pulling funding from their uh outsourced studios or studios overseas that they were supporting. Marvel Rivals was one of these studios that were supposed to be affected, but somehow they got past the gauntlet.
They
Unfortunately
were
for
semi affected though because remember they shut down their contractor sides in America.
That's right.
yeah, but that wasn't related to like that was something they did, and that wasn't even NetEase pulling their funding from Marvel Rivals because the Marvel Rivals thing they didn't want to pay for the characters. It wasn't even
Mm.
like for development cost. So I don't know what Rivals. I don't know why Rivals cut the other studios. I don't know. Maybe they thought they weren't going to make the money. But unfortunately for Nagoshi Studio, you all might be familiar with Nagoshi Studios' Gang of Dragon, which was unveiled at the Game Awards last year. It's an independent studio, but he has to secure new investors to continue development and keep its assets. From what we know so far, he has had no luck in getting new investors, but it has been announced that NetEase is reportedly pulling funding for Gang of Dragon. Um,
Mm.
the apparently this was uh after they found out that the studio needed about 44.4 million to complete the project. Uh, although the studio would be able to complete it on its own, the studio would unfortunately be responsible for paying NetEase for any associated costs to hold on to the brand or assets. So any like NetEase associations that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Um, the on the bright side, there is some like marketing pros to the game. So it's action adventure. It's by the Yakuza creator. Um, the star being a South Korean actor who was in Train to Busan and Marvel's Eternals. Um, there are some pros to marketing, but these pros might also be casualties since, once again, a lot of the money that anything that they use, they kind of have to pay back anyway. What are you guys' thoughts on? And this is the first studio we're actually hearing since, NetEase's announcement of cutting costs. This is the
Mhm.
first studio that at least I'm hearing of where they're like, yeah, no, we're pulling your funds. Like they said that they were going to have to do it a while back, but now I didn't think we'd see someone get hit so soon.
Mm.
That
Why don't you
sucks.
go first, Lee?
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Like, well, the Gangs of Dragons. That's very interesting. Like, it does look like another. It does look like a Yakuza clone. I mean, hence it was creator of Yakuza, but still, it sucks to see why they're doing it. I mean, I understand why they're doing it,
Mhm.
but now that we're seeing the exact repercussions of
Yeah.
what's happening and how bad it has gotten for them to decide to do that. And let's face it, dude, $44 billion is not like, I mean,
Billion.
A significant
that's an
chunk.
Yeah,
investment.
it's still not easy to
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
It's not
is a
easy to come
pretty,
by.
yeah, that's like a no joke investment, like situations of like, that's some hard cash that you're actually trying to do, you know. And I think that like with that kind of like expectations, you're expecting it to be like you're going to want that return back. And if you're seeing that, if you don't see
Mhm.
that level is going to be coming in, even though, you know, um like even though it's uh it's a big hitter, and you don't
Mhm.
have enough faith, then yeah, I can easily see why they would say, okay, no. I mean, just like what you were saying earlier, like Marvel Rivals was, I guess Marvel Rivals was lucky, really lucky for them to be like
Yeah.
to have that conversation, because not only that this is a game as a service game, but it's also that they're getting the licensing rights
Right.
from Disney, and that must have been like scary. I can only imagine you'll be like scary as hell that if this thing was going to be successful, or if it wasn't going to be successful and stuff.
It had
Like
to
they
be like
must have been nail
Squidward going to
biter.
work every day who's just like, "Oh, I gotta deal with SpongeBob." That had to
Yes.
be it had to be that kind of conversation.
Oh my god, yeah, yeah. So it's like, yeah, they must have been like, oh, thank God this worked, you know, this kind of
Yeah.
situation. But yeah, so it sucks. I feel that I don't think they're going to cancel it. Well, this is what, maybe this is the optimism in me, because this game does look. I mean,
Yeah, because
the
the
videos
game
of it.
isn't they haven't said anything about canceling. I think he's just looking for investors. So there's no talks of canceling at this
Mhm,
moment. It's
mhm,
more
Mhm.
so, just the search for investors. And I guess, with this article being out, somebody might come out and decide to invest in the game. And then someone else might be like, why invest in this when, like, David said, it looks like a Yakuza clone, even though we know it's not an RGG title
mhm.
and it's by the creator of the series. It something whatever it goes on in the investors room, he's gonna have to make a very strong case as to why this is not a Yakuza clone and what makes it different from the series in order to secure some investors. What's gonna I think that's what's hurting his search for investors right now because the Yakuza series has gotten so popular.
Right.
Mhm.
But I mean, then again, though, too. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like it's hard. I guess it's hard for us to even call it a clone because we don't know. I mean, yeah, it's going to look familiar to it. I mean, this was the guy. This is what the guy made. I mean, when he was
Yeah.
at RGG, but it could be like, for instance, was it Streets of LA? I can't remember what it was called.
Me personally, I see
True
Sleeping
Crime.
Dogs in it a little bit. I also see a little
Yeah,
true crime.
True
I see
Crime, Streets of
Sleeping Dogs and
LA,
true
Sleeping
crime.
Dogs, and stuff like Reservoir
Yeah.
Dogs or whatever. Those games were like are like the same kind of style of
Mhm.
Yakuza, but they were significantly different enough to not be called a Yakuza clone. And I think that it's like how this Gangs of Dragons, especially if they're going to be hiring the an actor of it, I feel like he would do something different enough to be like, oh no, this is going to be like the same kind of stuff that you were doing with what to call it. I think it could be more story based, story driven, but I guess we'll never know until hopefully someone's going to pick it up. um but it's funny because like I was thinking, like, you know what, this might be the perfect thing for a Saudi group to come pick up, because from it seems like how this all is
Oh
happening, you
boy.
know. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Savvy Games enters chat.
Savvy Games. It's like, wait, what? It's like,
He
there's a
said, "This is
company.
available." What?
This is
We
available.
got
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, let's go.
And then it's like
Yeah.
if they invest, you end up with this weird conundrum of people feeling morally superior in some way, saying, "Oh, well, this is a Saudi game. I can't support this." But then it's just like if you don't, the studio gets hurt by it because their original investors didn't want to support them. So at that point, like, what are
Well,
y'all even doing at this point?
I just have an issue. Well, the thing with Saudi for me is that I feel like Saudi is artificially increasing the gaming industry itself of
Oh,
what they're trying to do on
absolutely.
their moves, and that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the fact that if a place is going to be pumping in this kind of crazy cash into something that's not going to the like look where we're at right now. There was a lot of investors and stuff that put money into the gaming industry to a point where it was like, okay, we want ultimate fast returns, and
Mhm.
uh so they put a lot of money in
Crashed
all
and
these
burned
things,
immediately.
then crashed and burned. And guess what ended up happening? A lot of companies
A
were
lot of
short
layoffs.
was closing down, layoffs, freaking games itself were done. Now you got the same.
Yeah.
Now that we're doing the same thing in a more international level, that if they're not going to get their returns back on some of these games, like look how much EA is going to be selling for. EA is going to be a shell of what it
Mhm.
once was when they realize,
Yeah.
hey, we're not going to be doing what we used to do every year. Like, we're going to focus on the two things that make us money: Madden, soccer, and something else. But good luck on like other new IPs from that company, because they're going to want to get their money back. They're definitely going to want to get their money back. So yeah, they're not going to be any. I mean, Bioware, I'm pretty sure that's going to be gone. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I just think that, like, so when you have one company or one country that's going to be pushing that kind of drive to be like, oh, we're going to buy all these studios. Oh, all these studios are not making any money. We're going to shut all this stuff down. And so, like, we're going to be in a worse off position than we are now. That's why I don't
Yeah.
back the Saudi group. I mean, amongst the fact that the better way of civilizing, I guess, what people's like, oh, you shouldn't do that because it's blood money and stuff. I don't really, I mean, it is important, but it's not important to in my opinions, to be like, okay, I'm not going to
And
stop playing games.
yeah, well, and I'm curious, especially with you guys being in the FGC and being,
Mhm.
familiar with that, with the Kadia project taking over, or what was it RTS, I think, fully taking over Evo,
Mhm.
and what that's going to mean, for the tournament. I know they're talking about increasing it to like 5 or 6 tournaments throughout the year or something, and what that's going to look like. But again, they've got so much control, and to me that is the opposite of the FGC, which seems to be more grounded in grassroots. That's the
Local.
come up of it.
Mhm.
And it's so far away from that. It's like, what does that, who knows what it's going to mean or what kind of changes. We won't see them till at least probably next year.
Right,
I'll
right. I
tell you what
totally.
changes what happens. So, for one, locals are about to blow up. There are
Hmm.
people already saying who's going to be at Combo Breaker, who's going to be at CEO, who's going to be at this thing. Tampa Never Sleeps. I think they had like they had an event, and it was like the largest turnout they had in a while.
Mhm.
Mm,
So people are already starting to make their moves, but I don't think we'll see like the full brunt of it until next year, because people are
yeah.
already talking about the current prices of Evo. Where
Mhm.
I know that's right.
you're spending TwitchCon money to go to Evo.
Yeah.
Evo is well, I mean, I personally just can't do Evo anymore, because of, like, not even the fact that it's, I mean, I don't approve of the Saudi thing at all with this, because of what they're doing with Evo. Evo's not
Yeah,
Evo anymore, not in my eyes,
Right.
because especially when you're switching over to four, like, now you got to a point. Now they made 7 different Evos. They're breaking it up. They're expanding it outwards to, like, multiple different places and stuff. And we're paying an arm and a leg just to go to the quote unquote Super Bowl of fighting games, when and like the amount of money that you're getting. And now a regular casual player can't really go to this anymore, because it's
Right.
cost like, just the ticket alone cost over $250. Just to go to get yourself inside the venue, to play the game, it's still $10. That hasn't changed, but just to experience to go inside to set foot. Because I remember when you hit up what's his name, when you talked to the main dude, the
Rick?
organizer last year, yeah, Rick, yeah, the Hado, about like saying the amount of people here is nowhere near to the levels of what it was like a year ago prior to that. And like how you kind of not necessarily called them out, but you just basically were just trying to get a good explanation of it, and it makes perfect sense. And I think that it's just going to get worse because there's no way,
Yeah.
like when you have other people like when you have other things like CEO and Combo Breaker, and now people backing that even more, like they're saying how Tampa Never Sleeps comes up, has increased because Evo has lost its identity essentially from all of this, because I can't it's too ridiculous for me to be like, the amount of money that the Saudi group is going to be putting in on this game from Evo now, it's still going to be inflated because it's just going to be like Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves is a great game, but they basically tried to buy their way into a culture that was like that was like, okay, we're gonna give you $100,000 for this one fighting game tournament that not a lot of people are playing, and but we're just gonna let them be. This is gonna be the next big thing. It's artificially inflated because of this, and I feel like that's what is a big possibility of having the biggest fighting game tournament and then trying to put it in all the countries throughout the world that they're going to try to do too. So I don't. I can't. I'm done. I can't go to Evo anymore. I mean,
It
I'm not.
loses. It loses
Yeah.
something with it. It becomes less unique. You're right. The Super Bowl is the Super Bowl because there's only one Super Bowl.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like can't have 7 Super Bowls throughout the year. Like becomes less special.
Right. Exactly. So no. So that, yeah, I think I'm done with it. I would rather go to now. It gives me more incentive to go to other places. So we'll see. I mean, since you live in Vegas, I mean, it's cool. It's in your backyard and it's justifiable, and you're not into as competitive as other like into the scene. So it'd be perfect for you. But like
Yeah,
for
but I
yeah.
mean, again, that's contingent on the fact that I'm getting a media pass. I ain't paying. I'm not paying $250.
That
You
is true.
dig?
That is true. That is true.
Yeah,
But
dude,
no,
come
but
on.
yeah,
That's
it
too
is what it
pricey.
is,
That's too
man.
pricey.
Yeah, it is way too pricey. That was like a bonus topic in itself. Jesus, well, that's cool. Uh, all right, let's close it up. Smitty, you're the last one. What do you bring to the table, my friend?
Yeah, let's talk about news that everybody saw coming, but it's still unfortunate. Where what was the name of it?
High
High
guard.
Guard came out here a couple of when did it come out? I want to say like
January.
maybe yeah, it's been about a month and a half since it's been out. And they announced on their Twitter that they will be shutting down High Guard permanently starting March 12th. Now, here's the thing, dude, I'm so conflicted by this one. Was it a great game? Nah. I had some
Mhm.
fun playing it. There was things there. But a month and a half is not enough time, especially for a live service game to pick up to get better. I felt like their dev team was super responsive. They were making all kinds of changes and things like that. But of course they had layoffs and their
Mhm.
website went down. Like there were inklings that things weren't looking good over there, which is unfortunate. I know a lot of people try to blame Keeley for putting it at the end, and I get it. You know, the last trailer, you expect something massive, not something like this. This is one of those situations where it's like they had plans to like shadow drop, you know what I mean? Like this and that. And like Keeley loved the game. It's like, oh, I want to put it on the biggest platform that I can here at the end. And from their side or their point of view, it's like, yo, how do you pass up a prime spot like that, especially if they're offering it for free? Again, I don't know if that's true. There was weird things too with them kind of presenting as an indie studio, but not saying that they were backed by Tencent. That was weird moves. That's obviously you're gonna lose trust there in your
Mhm.
community especially when you're touting that you are indie dev studio, but we're getting Tencent money. That definitely changes the dynamic of things. So it's just, this is one of those weird, like, I don't know. It again, it wasn't the game from my experience was just okay. Not really
Mhm.
for me. It was fine. But nothing crazy. What's weird about it though is that it just seems like a mash of multiple genres, but there didn't seem to be a clear direction. There's also that place where I feel a lot of these free to play games get locked in, and I think it really, kind of hurts them is that they try to think about a competitive scene
Mhm.
before they even have a community. So they try to build it towards that, but like you have no community for that to even need to be a thing. Um, so there was multiple missteps here with High Guard. I'm not surprised, especially after seeing the numbers. I was just hoping it was going to have a little bit more time to breathe because most, if not every, live service game that is successful now did not start out that way. It took years of development and changes and feedback and building a community. The important part was you had a fun game that brought people in, and then you kind of go from there. You don't have that. This is what happened. So it's
Mhm.
unfortunate to see Wildlight get shut down like that. The game get shut down like that. They did, however, before you still have 4 days. They basically dropped a season's worth of content here the other day. A new, not operator, but whatever their people are called, a new character. I think it was a new level, some other new things and whatnot. So, unfortunately, I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on it. Again, I think this is another place where people were hating on the game before even actually playing the game, which again I feel like results in a lot of times just negative all around. People
You
just
know,
hating to hate.
it's funny. I kind of disagree with you a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
the reason why is like you saying that they had a chance, like to give a chance. I think people did give it a chance, and I think that the people that they did do, because like if you look at the numbers of what this game did in the short period, it's the fact that there was still over 2 million people that tried playing this game for free,
Mm-hmm.
and but then they're saying then they see the drop off. I think the slope of the drop off will say a lot specifically of it. Like people did give it try to see how it is. They said the game is probably either mediocre. They gave it a shot. Some people played a couple of hours. I mean, now to say how people hated the game off of the start, off of the get go, I don't think they should. Yeah, that I would totally agree with you there. Like they're like, oh, we hate the game because it can do this, and this, and you only played 15 minutes of it. No, people tried, and then even when they did the announcement of them shutting it down, the concurrent players on Steam alone was only at 200. And for a game and for a game as a service, it just
I
that
ain't
is
playing
not
a
going to
dead
fly.
game.
Yeah,
What's the point?
exactly. But that was prior to the
But
announcement. They didn't even
I
announce that it was going to be like it was going to
see.
be shut
I
down.
disagree to your disagreement because I feel like most of the people that were hating barely, if at all, played this game. Again, if even if you look at the reviews, you'll see people with a couple of hours, maybe, or stuff like that are just trashing on it. But you had a
Mhm.
lot of creators and people with loud voices saying,
Yeah.
I encountered it in real life. I had a dude talk, oh, the game's trash. And I was like, did you play it? And you're like, well, no, but all
Yeah.
right, dude. So, you know what I mean? Like,
But look at it
mm,
this way though too. Look at the amount of shit that Marathon had. The
what do you
amount of
mean?
stuff, like how the people were talking so much trash about
Yeah,
like about Marathon of like for years. It was years
they
of
still
this
are.
stuff towards all of it, and they still are, and still that they're messing with it. You still hear all that nonsense, but the difference is they don't. And granted, yes, they're owned by Sony, but hey, Sony also owned Concord, and that game burned like in just 2 weeks. But yeah, but I'm just saying that like the overall, it's only been this is day 4. It's still doing very good. Concurrents are still very high. The turn downs are off. I mean, they are. It's still showing that the gameplay loop that Marathon is still fun.
Yeah.
High Guard didn't have that like at all. Even though like yeah, the High Guard still started on a incredibly rough start. There's no debate on that. But I think but to contain people's interest in this game just wasn't there. It just wasn't.
Well, and you're right. I mean, that's the thing. When it, you know what I mean? Like outside of the hate and stuff like that, the people that did play the game, myself including, there wasn't enough of a reason to go back and keep playing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
didn't find myself being like, oh, let me go fire up High Guard and get some things in and whatnot. Like it just wasn't there. So you're right.
Figuring it
I
out.
mean,
Yeah.
that is fair. It just wasn't the game.
It just wasn't the game.
I just felt
Yeah.
like people, you know, I felt like there was a lot of chatter and a lot of hate before people really got to dive in and be like, oh, okay, here's the reasons why
Mhm.
I didn't particularly like it.
Yeah, but here's the question though: like, when would enough be enough? I mean, because like, I think it's a tough thing to say to be like, yeah, we didn't give it enough of a chance. I think they did get a chance. They did get a chance, even though the chance wasn't really. It still was not like at an equal ground. Let's say it wasn't even at an equal ground when it did, but I just think that it's hard to call a game out on a game if it was going to like give it some time to grow. Like a good example of that, Outriders. Outriders is a good example of that to me because Outriders, we thought that that game was going to be the money. You know, we played it. We played it for a good bit. For a good while, but then when it was all said and done, because they didn't have any direction of what they were going into this game. Yeah, Endgame was trash. They did it for a whole year, and then they had the audacity to say we're going to have to pay some more money for the expansion of a dying game. Yeah, no one did. Yeah, no one did. They're like, you fooled us before. We're not going to do this again. It wasn't. It was not cheap. You're right. And I just think that like with this kind of not like when is it going to be when would you call it for it to be like this is it? When you see the numbers of people like when you just see the numbers night and day that the decreasement of people that were playing this game was so low. Given they could be trolls, they could have been people, they could have been creators that were talking negatively, but still at the end of the day, there's a finite amount of those people, and then just the regular people that are just playing the game because they're wanting to play the game is less than 500 people. Is a little bit tough. So I think like I mean it sucks to see it go. I wanted to see it to go see where it was going to go. We all know there was no hidden secret that this game was rough when it came out, but the thing that you have to give it was that they were responding pretty fast on on feedback, because remember the 5v5 was immediate, like came after the week it came out, after people were like saying this is too empty, we need more people and stuff like that. They were doing what they can. So I mean, yeah, it sucks. And yeah, I agree with you. I think the deceptiveness that they did about who was backing it, like why were they hiding that? That's what I very
know.
It was really weird.
Yeah, it was very misleading how we're just an indie company from some of your favorite makers of Apex and all them things, and it's like, wait a second, but why didn't you guys just say with some money?
Tencent, yeah, it was Tencent. Like it's like are y'all trying to be like evil corporation? I don't know what the hell that was about. You're right. You're totally right about that.
Weird moves. Yeah.
Pop, do you have anything? Any opinion?
At this rate, I feel like we just need like a bulletin board of which game got shut down the quickest.
Yo.
Hey, that's the one thing they could brag about. They weren't the fastest to shut down.
They weren't.
Yeah.
It was that one fake game.
That was right.
Oh,
I bought it. I bought that
the day after.
Buy
the day
it.
after.
Buy it.
No, I didn't know.
What
I
is
didn't know.
wrong
My
with
buddy even
you?
called me an idiot.
Oh.
Farad just like you're such an idiot. I was like, yeah. I was like, well,
Oh my
we'll see how it
God.
plays out. I'm just curious. Yeah, it was
Smitty is
bad. It was bad.
Smitty like
I got my
Smitty.
Smitty's
money
definitely
back.
a wild card.
Yeah, Smitty like if anyone that would just like to see how a thing goes, Smitty will be the person to be like, okay, let me see how this is going to be. Regardless, like if he openly knows that he's not expecting anything, but he's just curious. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
My curiosity gets the better of me sometimes, and that was when I was just like, "Oh, this is epically bad. Like, how is this? How are you charging people money for this? This isn't even literally. You guys said it was a survival game. This is an extraction shooter with zombies. What?
You should be arrested. Like, what is this?
You should
This
be
is
There's
arrested.
no melee.
Yes,
Why is there
you
no
would.
melee?
That is actually funny.
That is funny. I mean, it's hilarious, man.
No,
Every
you
time
should be arrested as
you should be
funny.
arrested. Man, it
Oh
is
my
funny.
God.
But anyways, it is what it is. But yeah, well, rest in peace, High Guard. I don't think the studio shut down completely, or did
No,
they?
I'm pretty sure. No, I don't think they're completely shut down. I know they had major layoffs, but
Mhm.
we'll see if they're on life support for sure.
Okay, because like that's okay, that's what I'm just like, wow, this is just surprising. Like it took them a little bit to realize, oh, you know what? We shut down half the studio, but we're still going to keep this game as a service. And then 2 weeks later, you know what? Never mind. We're just done.
Just kidding.
We're just done. And maybe they were just trying to get to the thing saying we don't want to be the fastest game as a service to shut down. Well, I mean, when did the day after shut down? Like 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah, that was like maybe 2 days, 2-3 days. It was quick.
Wow.
It was.
was
He
so
did
funny.
not. Yeah, like I refunded the same day that I had purchased. I was like, nope.
I tried it.
I was like,
I
they
hate
are
it.
con artists. They are con artists. That was crazy.
That is hilarious.
Crazy.
That is flat out hilarious. All right. But anyways, well, folks, thank you for listening to another episode of the CFG Gamecast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation as always. If you like this episode, definitely give us a like, follow, or subscribe on our YouTube and Twitch page. But if you did miss out on this episode, that is perfectly all right. We do release it on all podcast services at the beginning of each and every week. So there is absolutely no reason to miss out on all sexy voices.
Ooh.
Guys, also be sure to go check out the awesome our blazed update on anime Nokori on Full Metal Panic. It was a funny one, so definitely check that out. So once again, this is Pop, Davis, and Smitty signing out. Y'all, take it easy.
Deuces.
Alrighty.